All right. So first, I want to thank you for joining me for tonight's live. Tonight, we are working with a wreath kit that was provided by TMI Gifts. So it is just a very opulent, luxurious wreath. It has a lot of, a lot of sparkle. It's got pearls. It's just beautiful. Like the materials are stunning. Have already reordered several of these materials. I kind of doubled down on them because I think there's just something very unique and special about them. So I'm excited to share that with you. And I've been waiting to design with these for a few weeks now. So I'm glad tonight is the night. There are still a few wreath kits available. With promo code CARA20, you get it 20% off, and it's already pretty well priced. So I would say grab one if you like this design. Okay, so I want to thank TMI Gifts for the opportunity, and I say we get into it. So grab, glass of wine, tea, whatever, your blanket, or do a craft with me, and let's get into it. Oh, I like that. I'm just seeing my tag, and one of them is wreath making, and then it looks like wrestler, but it's like wrestler. Okay. So the first thing I like to do when designing is I like to just clean up my wreaths and give them a little haircut. This is definitely a nice sturdy wreath. There are some that I get in bulk from other places, and they're very hit or miss. These are consistently like good solid wreaths, but the OCD in me always likes to just have things with a little bit of polish. But these are your wreaths, they're your style. So if you like all like the little like crawling vines, then leave them on. So if you're watching with me, I would love it if you just said hello and let me know where you're watching from. I see Brenda and Verlene. Hey ladies, thanks for joining me. So just giving this a quick trim. I did new new wallpaper today. This is probably like, I've painted this wall twice, and I think this is like the fourth wallpaper. So what I have done to the actual walls is like horrendous. Like it's down to the drywall underneath this peel and stick wallpaper, because it's supposed to come right off like easily, but nope, this time it ripped a lot of the primer and the drywall off. So I'm glad that this is my little safe space where I don't have to explain any of my random ideas. All right, so once this wreath is trimmed up a bit, I am going to create a hook. So these wreaths are going to be sold, so I like it when my clients can just take a wreath out of the box and they can already see, how it's intended. It's a suggestion. They might want to hang it, however, a different way, but I like to take a piece of grapevine wire and just slide it through one of like the really thick pieces of your wreath. And then I just twist off the ends. And then just slide this right through. Okay, so now we have our hook. And because this is grapevine wire, it's designed to blend in. So I like to mark it with a bow, like something that pops, because this is kind of our North Star, and it's very easy to lose the loop. So just a cute little bow. We're going with some Christmas colors here. Hey Mary, hey Rita, hi Michelle in Pennsylvania. Mary, you're in Louisiana, awesome. And Rita's in Florida. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys were able to make it. So thank you very much for joining me. All right, so we are going to be doing a bow. And even though the bow isn't the first thing that we're going to put on our wreath, I like to just get it out of the way, and that way we have all of our materials. So we're using this gorgeous, it's like a diamond, as I 3D try and show you things. It is a diamond printed champagne bow. I'm using this little wreath wrangler. It's so cute. It is from Garden Charm Boutique. I always want to make sure I don't butcher names. Garden Charm Boutique. And this is really a great tool for people who, like all of folks that do all these like super intricate bows with like multiple ribbons. I have a lot of work to do on that, so I'm just using it just to hold this in place. But it's nice to not have like the dowel like rolling around everywhere. All right, so to start, and I hope, yeah, you can see, I'm just gonna use the Easy Bow Maker for this one. And I am gonna start by just making, I want everything to be like lavish, so we'll say the tails are about like 18 inches. And I'm gonna start with making 6 5-inch loops. So what I like about, everybody kind of has like their like sweet spot with certain materials. So for me, I like working with 2.5-inch wired ribbon the best. Definitely always wired, because I feel like otherwise, you know, things can get smushed and things can wrinkle. You know, when you're working with wired ribbon, it's nice because it can always like bounce back. And when I ship these to clients, I always stuff the loops with tissue paper, so that way they're already coming like perfectly formed, like how they looked in my listing. So I'm just going back and forth making 5-inch loops. And as I bring the ribbon back through the dowel, I am gonna give it like a nice crisp twist. Okay, and that's how we really like seal off our loops. We don't want the middle of this whole thing to be like super thick. This ribbon is gorgeous. 'Tis the season. There is going to be glitter everywhere in the workshop. For all of my fellow designers, have you all flipped to Christmas? Because I feel like I'm actually a little late to the party. All right, so I have my 6 5-inch loops, and now I'm gonna dial it back and do some 4-inch loops. Yeah, it's hard to like swap over for a season. One, it's hard if you have unused inventory because you're like kicking yourself, but also it's just like packing up a season when you're still in it and like actively enjoying it. Like I love fall, so to have to pack up all my fall stuff, like it just seems, it's like counterintuitive, but as a small business owner, obviously, just like in the stores, we have to get ahead of, you know, home decor, seasonal decor, because everybody wants to have their stuff. Like when Thanksgiving is over, the next day, a lot of people have their trees out. And I'm probably going to do my pencil trees a little early, just because. All right, so now I'm making 6 4-inch loops. So we have a membership group, and right now, it's a membership group that's on YouTube, but then we also have a private Facebook page, just because I think it's more fun if like people can engage. Like I love YouTube, this is no knock on it, but you know, when you have a YouTube channel, the only one you're engaging with or seeing is like the person. So the people in this membership group are so talented. It's bananas. So this week we're doing a Christmas challenge, and for 5 days we are each posting something that we've designed. It could be something new, it could be something from the past, but you have to do it 5 days straight. And basically it's just, you know, it's a great way to inspire one another, encourage one another, you know, talk about like the trends this year, things like that. So it is really, really fun. So lucky for me, we're doing a winter wreath because I do not have one in for today. So, all right. So now I've done 6 of the 4-inch loops, and I'm going to cut a tail here because I want to have 2 sets of tails. So I'm going to measure roughly 18 inches. Okay. Now we're going to go back in, and I always start off with my ribbon to the right. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but, and I'm just gonna make a button. And the button is really just like that center part. And I always like to have like a good juicy button. So it's probably gonna be about 3 inches, but I don't really measure it. And then again with the tails. one of these tails is incredibly longer than the other. All right, so before I take this off the dowel, okay, so right now we have 13 loops in total, okay? I'm gonna start spreading these out, and I like to spread them out when they're still on the bow maker, just because they're not held into place. I'm gonna end up using a zip tie for this. So once the zip tie goes on, I mean, zip ties are just super, super tight. So it's gonna be harder to kind of manipulate the loops in different directions. So I'm just gonna take a sec to do that. And then we'll fluff after. It's always tempting to fluff, but there's just no point until everything's kind of put together. This diamond pattern, like, I mean, I think we've all seen diamond patterns for different themes, whether it's for like Halloween, Easter. There's something about it that it's very classy, and it really pops. So I'm going to carefully take this off the dowel, and I'm going to get my zip tie ready. And what I'm going to do is where the indentation is from the dowel, I am going to put my zip tie on. I'm not sure that I've ever let this go, but every time I do it, I feel like I'm going to let it go, and then it's all going to be ruined. Or not ruined, we'll have to start over. So zip ties are like my favorite sound for the winter season. So when I do in-person workshops, everything is zip tied. So like if it's quiet in a workshop, I'm like, okay, these ladies aren't used to using zip ties. So I'm like, all right, let's get it out of our system. Let's take one. I'm like, let's test it out. And once I hear the zip, then I know. And the more zip ties you use, the better it is, because it's just going to keep it secured. I mean, I use in my glue pot Gorilla Glue. I use Gorilla Glue sticks. No, I'm sorry. In my pot, I use Surebonder glue pellets. But in my glue gun, I use Gorilla Glue. And both of those are fantastic products. Like, they are very, very durable. Like, sometimes if I'm designing and I realize, like, I want to move something, even if I just, like, dipped it in, like, 30 seconds ago, once it dries, sometimes it is very, very hard to get out. So, it's not that glue won't do the trick. I just think like zip ties, they're going to be around long after me. So I usually use zip ties that are about 12 to 14 inches, and they usually hold up to like 50, 60 pounds. I mean, that's not really relevant, but they're durable. So with all my winter workshops coming up, I think I ordered like 3,000 zip ties. It might be excessive, but it might not. All right, so now that we have our bow, she's shimmering and shining, I'm going to snip the zip tie off the back, and then I'm going to take a piece of floral wire and a floral pick. Here is my pick. Here is my wire, right under my nose. All right. And I'm going to use the floral wire so that I can just attach this to the floral pick. And kind of the idea behind this is sometimes I feel like our bows kind of get like swallowed up. So this is a good way just to make sure that it's kind of like projected. So if anybody is designing and you're designing for a wreath going in between storm doors, this is like the opposite. Like everything should be like as flat and as close to the surface of a wreath as possible. But this one's not for this is not for a storm door, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, now, like one tail is crazy long. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna dovetail our tails. So to dovetail, you are gonna fold the tail in half, okay? And then cutting up at an angle, and I always say without cutting off your finger, cut up at an angle. And what it does is it cuts out this nice little triangle. So it's just a nice like polish. I think either doing dovetails or if you wanted to cut them diagonal. I just don't like a rough edge or like an edge that's uneven. All right, So I'm gonna go and do that, and I'm gonna even out like this one crazy long tail. I got carried away with this one. Very carried away. All right, we got one more. Okay, so we've got all 4 tails are done. And let me see. Just want to make sure that this is getting the comments. Okay, so now I'm going to take the wire that I just used and I am going to attach it to a floral pick. There it goes. One click too many. Okay. So starting at the top of my floral pick, using the wire that's on our bow, I'm going to start to wrap this around. Okay, just until all the wire is used up. So I use, I think it's 22 gauge wire, and I feel like it's a good sweet spot. It's very malleable, but it's also very, very sturdy. Okay, so we have our bow. She is looking sparkly and beautiful. And so we're gonna put her to the side, and now we're gonna get started on the foundation of our winter wreath, which is gonna be our greenery. Okay, so for this kit, I chose 2 different types of greenery. Wine break. Okay, so one is really rustic, okay? It's got some pine cones on it. It might even be like a cypress. And then some juniper. I feel like juniper is one of like the most beautiful types of greenery that you can use in the season, and it's hard to get good juniper. I've seen a lot of juniper that it looks really tacky or really fake, and it's just such a beautiful material for winter. So I love the quality of this. Like, the berries are the right color. They're not white, they're not dark blue. They're just the perfect shade for real juniper. And fun story is that when we moved here, you know, it's like you move and it's like you spend so much money on like all your landscaping and, you know, all the things that you're doing just to get like your new house up and running. And so I was like looking for a bargain at a local nursery. And so I found in like the sick plant section, like this little sick plant. And he was on sale. He was only $60 because he was sickly. So I was like, okay, great. I'll grab a bargain. So we planted him on the side of our house, or the corner. He literally is past our bedroom window. Like, he needs to be removed now. We're going to have to pay a lot of money to have him removed because he's been there for like 10 or 11 years. And so the roots are really deep. Like, we had like an arborist come out. So what I thought was a bargain in the moment is going to cost us a lot more in the long run. And if you think my husband hasn't noticed that or reminded me, he certainly has. Oh, I'm glad you like the wallpaper. I just did it today. Today was like a crazy, crazy day. All right, so with the kit comes 4 pieces of our more traditional greenery, and then 4 pieces of this beautiful juniper. So I'm going to be trimming this, and this is where the zip ties come in, okay? So I'm going to be using brown zip ties because we want everything to look natural, so obviously we don't want things like jumping out at us like the color of the zip tie. So I'm going to start at the top. Now I know I'm going to be putting my bow in here, but I want to just kind of get this settled first. So let me see. I'll do 1. Actually, I'm going to individually zip tie these. Let's not be cheap with the zip ties. I just bought thousands of them. I can be excessive with them. All right. And I am going to end up gluing this when I'm finished, but like when I do in-person workshops, it's just all zip ties. But when I'm selling, I feel like I should just take that extra step and just throw some hot glue on it. All right, now I'm going to repeat. I am a very OCD person. So if I do something once, I'm probably going to do it twice. So we're going to slide upward. So whenever I'm working on the top of a wreath, I like to slide things downward. And then when I'm working on the bottom half, if possible, like if the wreath is going to cooperate, I like to slide it upward. And the reason why is because grapevines themselves, they're so grabby. I'm assuming that like that's why people started using them for wreaths. I mean, I probably should look up the history. I don't know what the history of wreaths are, but I think there's a reason why they use this material. And I think it has to do with like all these like little crawly pieces because they grip on. All right, so I want this to like follow the natural curve of the wreath. So I'm gonna give this a bend. Like when you're working with materials like this, they're very malleable. Like I tell people, like this is not a delicate, you know, not a delicate like activity. Like you can really be pretty like rough with the materials, and they do just fine. Like as long as you're getting high quality materials, then things aren't gonna break. Hey, Diane. Diane is in Texas. What is the weather like there? Because I know I've been talking with people and like we've been in the 40s at night. Like we're in full on like fall mode here. But not everyone is having the same, I mean, aside from just the insane weather that has, you know, been so unfortunate. Just general areas where like it's still super hot. Like in New England, like we get spoiled because we have the mountains, we have the ocean. We get to experience like every season. New England is crazy though. I mean, like we've had Halloween canceled because of snowstorms before. So it's pretty erratic, but at least we get to see it all and experience it all. So like I'm so glad because you know, getting like a pumpkin spice latte when it's like 90 degrees out, it just doesn't hit the same, you know. All right, so now we're gonna go in with our juniper. And I'm gonna kind of lay this over our greens. Does anybody else design with zip ties? They're so fun. I'm like, zip ties are like the equivalent of like what men do with duct tape, I think. Like you can do anything with zip ties, I think. All right, so do one. Two right in between. Nice and tight. Just a little trim. And then I always like for something like special to kind of be trailing at the, like around the bow, not trailing, but like surrounding the bow. So for this, I'm gonna put one going kind of diagonal in, like so. And then I'm gonna put one going the opposite direction. And this way we'll just be framing out our bow. Okay. And these stems are in the same spot, so I can kill two birds with one stone and one zip tie. All right, so now we're gonna trim our tails. And now we're gonna put our bow in. Okay, so I am gonna be doing some gluing. Let's see. So I'm using my Surebonder glue pot, and she's the pretty one. She's like the Grace Monroe one. Put her right here. Like this is the thing with winter wreaths. Like I feel like you could almost say like you're pretty much done, but we have so many like beautiful things to add to this. So I'm so excited. Let's see. Caroline is saying 40s right now in South Carolina. Crazy for that area. Okay. When does it usually get cold? We can have like, you know, a 60-degree day and then an 80-degree day, very erratic. Okay, so what do I want to use first? Okay, 'cause I'm like pretty, I can't even say low key, I'm just obsessed with these materials. Okay, so when I ordered, or when I picked these for the kit, I'm so like, I'm not very thorough when reading descriptions. I missed the fact that these are velvet. So they were already gorgeous, but like, look at them up close. So we're just gonna kind of, you know, spread them out a little bit. Make sure that the right side is facing out. And I love it. It's like some just have like a little bit of like gold trim around the edges. Some have it all over. And then there's like these nice little berries. Let's trim this. Usually not cold until November. Oh, it is ahead of its time, huh? Okay, I'm actually gonna split this up. See, this is how you know things are live, because I never practice. Should I be? Probably. Okay, so let's take our first piece of this velvet leaf. And I just want to be mindful that I don't get the bow. Sometimes if I'm working with, you know, like a really big bow, I might put like a holder in place just because I use so much glue that I'm afraid it's just going to kind of fall on it and then damage the material. So I'm going to cut this into 3 pieces. 1. Let's have this coming. I always like something with like some visual interest to trail off and then make sure that I balance it below so that everything looks symmetrical. So we will go with that. And then let's put this one behind our bow. So my glue pot was like smoking hot. I mean, she's pretty, but she was actually smoking hot. So like whenever I kind of get started, I always turn her way up, and then she gets smoky because that's way too high for the glue, even though it's high temp glue. And so then I turn her down. So I turn her down a little bit too much, so she is a tad bit lower than she should be. So we're getting some glue hairs. Hello, TMI Gifts. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for this kit. I am obsessed. Obsessed. Always so fun working with you guys. And I love seeing all the fun things that you're doing. Like, you all are having so much fun at work. All right, so we're gonna mirror this. So we're gonna start kind of in the same spot. Now, what you can do to protect the tails too is you can also just kind of like fold them up for now so that we can work around them. I know, how can I get there? I would love that. I would be like a kid in the candy store there, for sure. I need Lori to teach me how to do those bows with that iron grip, as I call it. Because those bows are incredible. And she makes it look so easy. Like, you know, that's just when you see that somebody has a gift, is like when they do something and it just seems like the easiest thing on earth, but it's a struggle for other people. Like Lori's got the big bow making gift for sure. And oh my gosh, Morgan and those girls are so cute. I love them. I love her fashion. She's just a doll. All right, so we're just going in and we're mirroring, and then we're making sure that we have this matching our top. And then we're going to take this piece, and again, we are going to, yes. I think it's always like really fun and interesting to see what other people do. I feel like when it comes to like designing, there's so many different ways to get to the same outcome. And I think that just has to do with like the creativity and things like that. So I love it. Right? Okay, Caroline's saying like the whole bow like alone is like glam. I'm 100% with you. And this is a 10-yard spool of ribbon, and so I mean I probably took like half of it, but like there's a lot more to go there. All right, this is my favorite thing. I have never seen anything like this in my life in all of my years of designing. And this is what I based the whole kit around, because I was just like, as Gordon Ramsay would say, I was gobsmacked. Clearly I've been watching him. Okay, so look at these leaves, okay? They are like peppered with like little like gold, I don't know what, like little balls of gold, and then it's got the pearls. Like the pearls were what really did it for me, because I feel like there's a lot that we can get out there with the gold. And I love gold, I love champagne, but the pearls to me like elevated the entire look, because I've, again, never seen anything like it. So these are, which I took off the tags, but it's a type of magnolia leaf, I believe. And so even though there's a few wreath kits left, even if you don't want a whole kit, many of these supplies are still just individually available. So again, not to sound salesy, but I'm just going to throw it out there because a discount is a discount. With Cara 20, it'd be 20% off. All right. So let's put her right here. My first wreath that I designed this year was like a navy and gold theme, and I used these, both of these types of leaves. Like I couldn't wait. Let's see. It's nice that everything's nice and malleable, because then we can kind of get the most bang for our buck. And I definitely want the one with the pearls to stick out the most. Okay, and then we're going to repeat. Yes. Oh, you bought them too. I know. They're just, you know, like when you see something unique, you know, like, and they're well priced, but even if they weren't well priced, it wouldn't have deterred me, because there is nothing else like this on the market. I mean, I'm always like searching and like looking for trends and things like that, and I just haven't seen anything that even comes close to this. All right, so now we're going to go down here, fill in this area. All right, so I'm going to let the tails down, because I just want to make sure, I want to place this so that it's prominent. I don't want it just covered up by our beautiful bow. And I'm a hypocrite, because I always say don't bother fluffing until the end, but I just can't help it. So this is a 13 loop bow, and it's 2.5 inch wired ribbon. And like I said, I probably used half the roll. And this ribbon is, I don't know if it's available. It probably, it might be. I think it is. My intuition says it's still available. Okay. So like, again, it's like we've only used a few materials. We've used 2 types of greenery, 2 types of gold leaves, and our bow, and like she's pretty much like very close to being done. But wait, there's more. So we are going to be using these champagne beaded pieces. I'm sure there's a more specific term for that. Let me see. So I am going to put one right here behind our bow. I'm going to give it a little bend. I like things with movement. Okay, I think that kind of gives it like that feeling of like whimsy. So what I like about this too, I was thinking about this, is like, yes, this is a winter wreath, so this could be for Christmas, for Hanukkah, but also it gives me like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day vibes, because it's just like so celebratory, and it's not the traditional Christmas color, so you don't have to feel like married to it. I mean, I think we all know how it feels like when the trees come down and, you know, our mantle and our tablescapes, like everything seems so bare all of a sudden. So it's nice to have a few things that you can keep just to like keep your house like feeling so like warm and celebratory, because I mean, New Year, definitely something to celebrate. Loving the beautiful pieces, yes. I know. So the ribbon is still available. We have our TMI Gifts expert on our live with us. All right. I'll mirror this. Oh my gosh, I love these things. Love, love, love. I am definitely gonna TMI Gifts. I'm gonna be back on your site very shortly, because I think I need more of the ribbon, and seeing these like in action, I just absolutely love. Gorgeous. And I like champagne because it's in between. So if you have like a client who is either like all gold or all silver, this is where you like meet in the middle, is with champagne. It can go with either of those like metallics and not clash. All right, so now I feel like we're gonna be competing, because you're giving me ribbon anxiety. I don't know about anybody else, but I get like such ribbon anxiety. I get material anxiety in general. So when like I know something is like limited, it just, you know, I just go crazy. All right, so this piece, these are sold out. So these are only available in the kit. And these are like these pearl, they're kind of like a frosted pearl look, and they're gorgeous, and they're gonna tie in the whole look of having like the gold, the champagne, and the pearl. So there's a lot here. So we can definitely break this into several pieces. I know, I think we all suffer from it. I think ribbon for some reason is what I get most like anxiety over, that it's going to be gone, and once it's gone, it's gone. And, you know, especially with winter wreaths, I feel like the bows are such a statement that you want to make sure you have like enough of exactly whatever it is, like whatever that look is you're going for. All right. So actually, I might even break this up more. I am gonna break this up more. This is like one of those materials that you can stretch a long way, which I love, because it is good for the wallet when you're pricing. Let's see. Yeah, the picture online does not do it justice. I mean, I think even though I'm like showing these items close up, I feel like you have to actually like see them, because they're just gorgeous. All right, so I might do these one at a time. So let's see, I'm gonna start in the top corner. Like when it comes to wreath making, like for anyone who feels like, you know, it takes a long time, or it shouldn't take as long as it does, like there's really a lot to be said for muscle memory. So when I'm designing, I kind of have like that 1, 2, 3. I mean, I'm teaching people, you know, every season, so that obviously reinforces it, because I'm going and explaining things like step by step to a group and helping them. But when you really kind of get, like when you hone in on what the design is that you like, and you keep practicing it over and over again, you'll be amazed at like how quickly you can do things and not stress about them and not second guess, you know? I mean, there are times that we're always going to put something in and then be like, I'm not sure I like it there exactly. But in general, you have like your blueprint. So for this, like for my winter design, this is my blueprint. Greenery first. Then we did our bow. Then we made sure we worked around our bow. You never want the bow to just be standing and have like, well, it depends on what your look is, but for me, I like when there's action around the bow because I feel like that's kind of like the star or like the focal point here. Yeah, I'm definitely buying more. All right. And I like to do things mirrored. Yes, definitely OCD, but also, you know, one of the benefits of that, aside from that my house is always clean, is that you end up with a really balanced look. So I'm actually going to try and match these up a little bit by size as well. I am covered in glitter and I'm not mad about it. Put it in here. I feel like there's so much you can do with these. These are very like long and wispy. Has that whimsical feel to it, I think. Malleable, so if you want to weave it in between your leaves, you can. If you just want to like following the curve of your wreath, you can do that. I'm gonna go in that direction right now. Ooh, glue. Hot glue. Hot glue. I swear, I don't think my daughter ever knew I swore until I got my hot glue like tools. I love them, but if you use hot glue, like if you know, like when it hits, there's a good chance some pretty bad words are gonna come out of your mouth. But that hit my finger now, so not as bad as it could be. All right. I love this. I've been using like twigs and things recently just to give it like that extra movement. And these pieces are perfect for winter. They would pair so well, like with anything, whether it's flocked or not. So many glue hairs. Sounds good to me. All right. And you can also have things coming out in kind of like unexpected directions, which I like. It's kind of like, I consider them like, I call them disruptors, just because they kind of like change the flow of how you're designing. And for TMI, is it Tiffany on? And then I realized today, you know how like I always take a nap before I do workshops because I feel like otherwise my energy can be like a little blah. And as I was trying to fall asleep, you think of the most random things. Then I was like, wait, Tiffany spells her name with an O. It's O-N-I at the end. I'm like, is it Tiffany? Have I been calling you the wrong name for a very long time? I mean, I get like the Cara thing, but it's always weird when somebody's been calling me the wrong name for a really long time, and then I was like, I wonder if it's Tiffany. So either whoever's on for TMI Gifts, please let me know if it's Tiffany or Tiffany. All right, I'm going to raise this up a little bit because I want to get some more action on this lower half. Oh, I had it right. Okay, it's Tiffany. Okay. You never know. I always say I've been called worse, so if I get called Cara, it's not a big deal. I don't correct people. Or it's very, very unlikely that I'm going to correct somebody because I don't really, I get it. I don't really care. There's a lot of Caras spelled with a K. My parents had to do their own thing, and there we go. So. Curious, messing around with this. So on the pieces that have like the thicker wire, you can even kind of give them like a twist if you wanted to. Okay, we've got our last piece, got to make it count. We'll go up here. I have so much glue in this one area that I actually want to just also throw a zip tie on top of that. Just having a hard time getting through. Okay, we'll trim the tail on that. And here she is. This is our opulent pearl and champagne wreath kit. What do you guys think? Are we feeling it? Are we more traditional? What are your favorite styles for winter, for Christmas? Yes. All right. Let me see. Here she is. So she is built on an 18-inch frame. She probably is measuring out, like at least from this side, like 24 inches. However, you know, it's always good to ship things tightly. So I feel like you could still put this in like a 22-inch box. And then for cleanup, when it comes to winter stuff, really, a lot of the stuff is sliding inward. So there isn't a whole lot of cleanup. But if there was, just to like demonstrate, what I do is I like to just take a little bit of moss. I shut my glue gun off. So, you like it? Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so glad you like it. Yeah, my glue gun's gonna take a sec to heat up. But what I like to do is anything that's sticking out, so like where the zip ties are trimmed, it's a little sharp, like where they get cut. So either you have to make sure that they're facing inward, but you want to make sure like if a client grabs their wreath that it's not going to like poke them. So what I like to do is I like to just put a little bit of moss over it, and that way there's nothing for them to kind of get like jabbed with. We're not selling jabbing wreaths. Okay, let's see if she's ready. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Thanks, Michelle. My dear Brenda. All right. So really what I'm going to end up doing, my glue gun is not heating up enough, so I'm not going to make you wait for it. So, but what I would do is I just take a little bit of glue, and then I put some moss, like this is reindeer moss on it. And yeah, just to make sure she's finished. The last thing that I always encourage people to do is to use the Krylon UV spray. This is not sponsored. So for anybody, I mean, I feel like wreaths are expensive. It's an investment. You don't want like, you know, your Marshall special that you're going to get a wreath for 30 bucks and you're fine because it's going to be junk at the end of the season. You know, you want something, if you're going to spend good money on a wreath, you want to take care of it. So I think as wreath makers, if you're selling, I think it's really a great selling point to your clientele that you've taken the time and the steps to prevent, you know, anything. It protects it from UV damage, but also it deters dirt and moisture. So like, again, having a wreath that lasts seasons. And for my fellow makers, I did see that Michael's is now selling this in bulk. So I think full price, it's maybe 12 bucks. So it's usually like 10 with a coupon. If you do it in bulk, it is 12 cans and they're 8 bucks a piece. So there you go. All right. So I hope you guys like this design. TMI Gifts. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, but also like, I'm just so glad you're in my life because you have the most beautiful materials. So Tiffany, just hold off on that ribbon. Okay. You work there. It can wait till the morning. Just, you know, give me a little head start to get another order in for that ribbon. But yes, to me, this is designed for that luxury client. You know, I've been kind of like looking into or like researching, you know, like what draws certain people, and everybody has their own aesthetic. But I think that when it's coming to like your more like luxurious client, like they want something that no one else has, and they also want it to be as easy as possible. So they don't want to micromanage. They don't want a lot of back and forth. Like they are going to trust your talent, your expertise. So when they see something that they like, they want it. The price isn't necessarily a driving force, you know. A lot of us, like when we're searching for something, like if I'm searching for a dress, like I often like filter my, you know, like the filter for the searching. There you go. Words, Cara. I like to sort it so it's like highest first, and there's a good chance I'm not buying the highest. However, though, I will like jump to page 2 or 3 because I don't want to find like dresses that are in the junior section or dresses that are in clearance because they're off season. So, you know, like when it comes to pricing, it can be personal, but also like sometimes I'm not sure that everybody values their worth. So, you know, and that's like a lesson that you have to kind of get comfortable with is, you know, it's your design, is something that's unique to you. You are the secret sauce. So if, you know, all of those things fall in line, like you should price with confidence. You know, they're not buying a Marshall's wreath. They're not buying a Joanna Gaines special at Target that every influencer is, you know, pushing their promo codes on. Like it's something handcrafted. It's one of a kind. It's something that you have done with your own 2 hands and with your imagination. And I would say you can't put a price on that, but you have to because you got to make money. So anyways, know your value. That's the main lesson here. So thank you guys again. I'm going to take some photos of this tomorrow in some natural lighting. The lighting here does not do it justice, but it is gorgeous, if I can say so myself. So If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you're not in our membership group and you're interested in being in a community with some other like-minded, creativity-driven people, they're also all very nice. Like the best part of the membership group is it's the members. It's not. It has very little to do with me. It's just an incredibly supportive group. Like, on Facebook groups when there's all these rules, we don't have any because no one needs the rules. Everybody's nice, everybody's polite, everybody's encouraging. So if you're looking to join a community where you kind of get that feeling, I think we have about 70, 80, a little under 80 members. So it's still like an intimate group where people actually, get to know each other. They get to know each other's work and, all that stuff. Like it's a special place to be. I feel really honored to be a part of it. So yeah, if you're interested in that, you can also look into joining our membership. But I want to say thank you again to TMI Gifts for this opportunity. There are a couple wreath kits available still, so if you're interested, use promo code KARA20. You can save 20% off of that, but you can also save 20% off of whatever you want. So, like I say, no one uses the code more than me. This girl loves a discount. So, it's awesome. Like, go on their shop. They have this cute Tiffany, I'm probably going to get it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but that 24-inch, like, tin nutcracker, like, I'm eyeing them. Like, if this was Tinder and I'm well beyond the age of Tinder, like, what would he be, a swipe? What would I swipe? I'd swipe whatever way I would end up with him because I really think he's so handsome. So, yes, I will be placing an order tonight. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Bonnie, yes, opulence. Brenda is enjoying life by the lake. Michelle in Central PA. And, Brenda's also there. So, swipe right. I'm so glad someone here could clarify that for me because I don't know. But, all right, awesome. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I will be seeing you soon.